Welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video, guys. My name is Patrick, aka Chief Pat, and today I'm going to be showing you guys 5 quick tips about how to win more battles inside of Clash Royale. So for background, I'm both a Clash Royale YouTuber as well as currently the highest ranking level 11 in the world. So I put some tips together for you guys that should help you win more battles, no matter if you're in Arena 1, if you're all the way up in Legendary Arena. This affects every single player, so let's go ahead and check them out. So tip number 1, and something I see a lot of beginner players forget to do, is to fight on your side of the map. Supercell was nice enough to give you 2 crowd towers as well as a king tower that deal damage to your opponents whenever they're in range. So for example, if we drop 2 even troops and they meet in the very center where neither tower is helping, the trade's going to go absolutely even. However, if you can fight on your side of the map, let's say you have 2 baby dragons meet up in the center, your tower will be able to help kill that baby dragon and force your opponent to respond when you have a half health baby dragon going down the lane. You always want to try to fight on your side of the map unless you're going for their tower, unless you're going to damage it, or else you're going to be in a lot of trouble as soon as they throw in a counterattack. So tip number 2 might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but it's going to be that sometimes it's okay to take damage. I know no one likes to take damage against their towers or their king tower, but you can really put yourself in a bad position if you respond to every single push. So for example, if someone throws goblins down the lane and your towers are taking out those goblins in 2 shots, chances are they're only going to get 1 or 2 hits off against your tower. It isn't worth dropping something like a knight, barbarians, dragon, because if you show that card and then your card starts going down the lane, your opponent knows what's coming and they can play an easy counterattack to take you out. It's really not worth it. It's better to save up for your own push. So if you have like 2 spirit goblins coming at you, if you have something that's really not going to do that much damage, I generally advise to save up your elixir, go for a better push instead of dropping all your cards, showing your opponent your hand just to save 50 to 100 damage against your tower. So going into tip number 3, this is probably the most important concept inside of Clash Royale, and if you can master this, you're going to win a majority of your battles. That's going to be making positive elixir trades and keeping an elixir advantage on your opponent, because long story short, elixir wins games. So for example, let's say my opponent drops a minion horde down the lane. If I drop arrows to counter that minion horde, I'm going to take no damage to my tower, and you can see that I overall gained 2 elixir from that trade. It cost him 5 elixir to play those minions, only 3 elixir for me to counter it, and now I'm going to be up 2 elixir going into the rest of the battle. Let's say he drops a hog rider after that. I can drop something like a cannon, I can drop something like a tombstone. That'll kill the hog rider. I won't take any damage, as well as now I've gained 3 elixir total after that minion horde as well. The more you can play cards to completely counter your opponent and build up your elixir lead, the better chance you have of destroying them by going on a strong push where they don't have enough elixir to respond. Other counters would be something like a fireball taking out barbarians. If they don't kill them, they should bring them down to like 1 HP to where your towers can take them out. Also something like a lightning spell to kill, let's say, 2 witches. If someone mirrors their witches, which costs 11 elixir total, you can play 1 single lightning spell and take both of those witches out. Any scenario like that where you can either gain an advantage, or if you can maybe decrease your advantage a little bit while doing damage to the tower, for example, dropping a lightning spell to kill both the wizard and do 400 damage to a crown tower is going to give you a big advantage. Always make sure that you're trying to counter the cards, look at which counters which, depending on what battles you've been into recently, and overall it'll make you a better player and you should win more of your battles going into the future. Picking up on tip number 4, this is something I get to do a lot as a YouTuber, and that's going to be watching your replay to learn from your mistakes. I can't tell you guys how often I'll rewatch some of my videos, I'll rewatch some of my replays, and see some obvious mistakes I make inside of the game that I can correct inside of later battles. Maybe I dropped a bad fireball, maybe I was making a poor elixir trade. If you look at your replays, you can watch it in half speed, you can watch it in regular speed, you can see what you're doing wrong, and it's much easier to check out when you're not in the heat of battle and learn from those mistakes. It's really important to find out what you're doing wrong to improve as a player, because if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results, that's actually the definition of insanity. So my fifth and final piece of advice for this video is going to be to experiment with different cards as well as try out different decks. I know sometimes it's easy to play only a certain style, to do only a Hog Rider freeze push, to only do the balloon, but when you try out different decks, number one, you might find a play style or a certain card that fits your strategy better, but more importantly, number two, you can actually find out what beats that strategy. Let's say you keep getting beat by the Hog Rider freeze strategy. You can try it out yourself, and when someone beats you, you can actually learn what they're doing to beat you and replicate that when you play your opponents. You learn a lot more about the game when you actually try out different strategies yourself. You see what works, you see what doesn't work, and I definitely recommend that you guys experiment with your decks. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hope these tips helped you out. Again, every single one of these tips applies to you no matter if you're in Arena 1 or all the way up in Arena 8. They can definitely help you win more games and have more fun inside of the game. It's never fun losing, so let's try to win more games, and that will do it for this video. As far as I go, I post Clash Royale videos every single day on my channel, so if you want to subscribe, go ahead and smack that subscribe button below for daily Clash Royale content. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.